Good morning, and thank you all for being here for the Lake Atoka Reservation Association meeting. Call this meeting to order and ask for approval of minutes of September 19th, 2019 for the Lake Atoka Reservation Association. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved. There's a correction.
Yes, sir.
So it has me as a surrogate instead of a citizen on the minutes. Just for the record.
Okay, so we need to make that change.
Make that adjustment.
Yeah. Michelle, did you hear that? We have JD mislabeled in the minutes of the last meeting. Right? Thank you.
That's it.
Do I hear a motion to approve with those adjustments?
So moved. Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Items for individual consideration. Item A, resolution of the Lake Atoka Reservation Association recommending the Oklahoma City Water Utility Trust receive and approve the Lake Atoka Reservation Association fiscal year budget for 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion. All those opposed? Motion carries. Item B, financial statement and report of independent auditors for fiscal year end June 30th, 2019. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, items from board members. Any board members have any items? Hearing none. Items from the city of Atoka, the Lake Patrol and activity as provided by Chief Dotson of the city of Atoka. Chief?
I don't have anything to add to the report, but entertain questions if anybody has.
Any questions for Chief Dotson? Do we need to approve that report?
Accept.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, items from the general manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the lake level report. Dustin?
Yeah, the lake is doing really good. The spillway project is still going on. We're trying to maintain the spillway lake level at 585, but we're unsuccessful as it continues to rain down there and the lake is continuing to be full. So that helps us save some electricity costs from McGee Creek, so we don't have to pump from McGee Creek to be able to balance the lakes out according to our lake balance plan. But hopefully soon the construction will be over and we'll be able to see the improvements down there. I'm sure we'll have a report on that, and we'll continue to pump from Lake Atoka to be able to help balance all the lakes, so that way everybody has water for recreation and, most importantly, drinking water.
Any questions? Next, we have a project update for the second Atoka pipeline. Larry Hare.
Good morning. Basically, as a quick recap, we have an existing 60-inch pipeline going from Atoka to Draper with 6 pump stations to bring raw water up to Oklahoma City. We plan on putting in a new 72-inch pipeline that parallels the existing pipeline with 3 new pump stations within the same easement. We've divided the whole pipeline construction projects into 9 different projects with the different coloring that you see here. And the 9th project, if you're counting, is the pump stations, which is being done by CDM Smith. And those pump stations will be at Pump Station O here at the southern tip of Atoka, the Stonewall Station right here, and then the Conowa Pump Station right here. We currently have 1 construction project underway, which is the river crossing. It's currently an aerial crossing for the existing pipeline that's about 2,300 feet long. The new plan is to bore underneath or tunnel underneath the river with the new 72-inch pipeline and with a new 60-inch pipeline, so that we can abandon the existing aerial crossing in its place. The contractor is Vadnais Trenchless Services. They got the contract for about $29 million, and we're looking at about a year and a half construction period. In order to tunnel underneath the river, they have to have 2 central shafts where they will dig a 120 feet deep shaft, about 40 feet wide, in order to put their boring machine, and they will go in both directions in order to install the pipe. On the 72-inch shaft, what I call the 72-inch shaft, the shaft for the 72-inch pipeline, I should say. On February 10th, they began digging the shaft after they had installed all of their piles in order to provide a waterproof, watertight structure. And by February 26th, they had reached about 40 feet deep. So I imagine about this time, they're probably about halfway down. For the 60-inch, they began drilling for the piles to go around to create their waterproof structure. Backing up. What you see here, these are the things that they're drilling. They're drilling those, putting the casing in, filling it with concrete, and bringing the casing back up so that they have a complete watertight structure around them. The status of the remaining projects, we're currently on hold because I can't resist bringing this little critter up every time I talk about this project, is the American burying beetle. We're still coordinating with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife for our incidental take permit. Currently, we're set up to get our permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife still in mid-July. After a recent conversation we had them, they think we're still on schedule for that. We have already purchased mitigation credits from a conservation bank called the Dirty Creek Conservation Bank, and we purchased about 97 mitigation credits, which is about the most that we think that we will have to have. The reason why we have to go through all of this is because, as you can see, about half of my pipeline is within the American burying beetle conservation area, and about, as you can see, almost 80% of the pipeline falls within the ABB range. And just for a location experience here, the Dirty Creek Conservation Bank is located right up here. So what they do is they set aside land for us to maintain in perpetuity to help encourage beetle growth and health. And I can answer any questions related to this one if you wish.
Is there any questions?
Thank you, Larry.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, just so you know, we started this permitting process back in
I got it.
2015. And we have been working diligently with the Army Corps of Engineers and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and we thought we were going to be able to begin physical work on the pipeline last year. Fish and Wildlife has decided they're going to give us a single permit for the whole run instead of individual segments as we have it designed. They feel that we would have a better chance with this individual permit for the whole job if we were to be sued than if we did segments individually. And so that's why it's taking until the end of June, maybe early July, to get this permit in hand. So we're about 2 years behind schedule on the construction of the pipeline, but we hope to catch up as we go through the construction process. So I just want to give everybody an update. Secondly, we were planning to start at Lake Atoka, the first segment, but we found a prehistoric Indian village right in the middle of our construction area, and so rather than mitigating that archaeological site, we designed around that site. And so now we're in the process, I believe we have all the easements in place, and we're in the process of getting the updated permits so that we can actually build without interfering with the prehistoric village. So that's a summary of where we are on getting the project further along. So the next presentation, there are two projects. Andrew Mishler with our engineering group is going to talk with you about the update on the Atoca Spillway and on the Atoka boat ramp.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone.
This is, again, WC 864, the Atoca Dam and Spillway project. We'll start with that, and I'll give you a small update on the Atoka boat ramp project that we also have going on as well. This is a little history about the existing dam spillway. It's an earthen dam constructed in 1958. The top of the dam is elevation 600, and the spillway elevation is elevation 590. Through our construction, we'll be raising the top of the dam elevation from 600 to 607, but the spillway elevation will remain at 590, so the water level will not be changing there. So this is the aerial picture that I show every time we talk about this from the north end looking kind of towards the south. You can see a lot of work that currently is going on in the OG spillway of the Phase 1 section, and then of the chute spillway walls here on what we call the Phase 1 section as well. A little bit further down, we can see the first section of the RCC, the roller compacted concrete, has been installed right here. That was done over the winter time. But currently right now we are working mainly on this OG section so that we can get it completed, hopefully by the end of the month is the schedule, so that we can then move this coffer dam that we have right here blocking this Phase 1 section. We will flip it and it will go towards the south, towards the dam embankment itself, to block off this section, so we can then start working on this section of the OG and this section of the chute itself, and water will then come over to the Phase 1 section and overspill and go down the new chute walls itself right here. So this is a closer look of the OG section. This was a major undertaking of the OG itself. This was what we called the deep section of the OG, because it had to fill in what was the old existing chute. So this is what they call a mass concrete pour. So there's special considerations that have to be taken in making sure that it cures properly and the temperatures inside and outside maintained so that you get the proper cure on that. The last part here is the corner of the OG where it makes this 90-degree turn, a very intricate part of the OG itself where there's two curves in it. The curve that goes along the 90, as well as the curve that comes down the OG face itself. So to make that, we use these special styrofoam forms that go together like a puzzle piece. You can see them here. They're coating them with anti-adhesive so they don't stick to the concrete, but they go together just like a puzzle piece, and they go up in sections here. You can see this detailed form structure here that go up usually in 36-inch 3-foot lifts. They pour a section, and then they'll put in another section of the puzzle, and it'll continue up until we get to the top. Here we are getting completion of the Phase 1 chute walls itself. You can see this wall is almost 30 feet high almost, and so this guy here is just doing some final touch-up and curing of the face itself. And so once we get to the end of the month, hopefully we will then start being able to use this as the waterway. So this is from the south end. This is the pump station over here on the left side of the picture. Here you can see the first section of the RCC that we've placed over the winter time, and this is just one part of it. So right now we just did the first section because we have to maintain construction access along this road along the bottom of the picture here. And then once we get done with the rest of it, we will come in, and this RCC will extend all the way across the hill back to where this picture is being taken from, as well as this RCC will be coming up another 10 feet higher, I believe, 10 feet higher from what the top of this RCC is right now. You can also see some work is going on in what is called the Phase 2 section of the chute itself. Getting ready to pour some concrete slabs here, and then the wall along the dam face here that will tie into the RCC. If you look here in the middle of the chute, you can see where the temporary berm is placed here. And once we get the Phase 1 OG that we talked about earlier complete, this angled section right here in the middle of the picture will be removed, and it will go straight up to the very end where the OG is at. So that will keep all of the water over on the Phase 1 section where it's coming down right here, and we'll be able to work fully on the Phase 2 section. Lake levels, Dustin Seagraves gave a little bit of an update on the lake levels. Over the last few months, we've had several additional feet of water coming over the spillway section. And you can see we've been trying to maintain that as best we can through the temporary chute, trying to keep it at 585, as Dustin talked about earlier. Moving on from the spillway project, we'll move to the Atoka boat ramp project. We are working on this project in coordination and agreement with the city of Atoka themselves, and we did our first bidding of the Atoka project. It was advertised by the city of Atoka in some of the regional papers in Atoka, McAllister, and Ardmore on January 15th and 22nd. We held our pre-bid meeting down at the city of Atoka on January 29th. We only had one attendee of that pre-bid meeting, and he was a sales representative of Miko Sullivan, who is the manufacturer of the floating boat docks themselves. And subsequently, we did not receive any bids when the project closed in February. So we've gone back and we've made some additional communication efforts to talk to contractors in the area to see if they have any interest in the project, and some of them do. And so we have now re-advertised the project. Yesterday, again, in coordination with the city of Atoka, we had them re-advertise the project in regional papers like we did last time, including Durant this time, I believe. We've also tried to put it in the Journal Record, which is a large advertising paper in Oklahoma that a lot of contractors look at, as well as our architect, TAP Architecture. They also placed the advertisement on internet-based forums like the Dodge Report and I Square Foot, those type of places where contractors can look on the internet to see advertisements, and hopefully we can get a little bit more interest in the project. Right now, our next meeting, we'll have our mandatory pre-bid meeting again down at the city of Atoka on March 24th, and we'll go through our plans and specs and the necessary items for us to get qualified bidders, and then our bid is scheduled to close April 15th. And that's all I have on that.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. At this time, are there any citizens to be heard? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.